Hey everyone, we are back for another market recap. But first, let me show you some footage from the market.
You are working. I'm setting up all this stuff. Now we downstairs. Hi. She handmade all these things.
I just bought a handmade hat.
You did?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
You
got it already?
The hat store thing. It's at the hat store.
Cool.
I actually do crochet, and I have like a crochet club. I know how
You
to.
do? You're in a crochet club?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first time all night that music hasn't been playing. I have such a headache. I haven't been able to check in because, you know, copyright issues and all that with the music. But I don't know if you can hear all the chatter in the background. This is like one big party that they bring their kids to, and I mean little kids, and then just let them run wild. I have spent so much time biting my tongue to keep these people, just manhandling the merchandise. But I have been biting my tongue tonight, except for the one little boy that kept coming up and snatching stuff, running off with it, and then his sister, or whatever, tries to take it away from him, and they're having a tug of war with the plushies. I finally yelled at them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't take it. have a headache, bad. I'll be glad when the night's over. Like, oh my goodness. And then there's like an incense booth across from us. I'm sure that's not helping the headache, just the smells from that. Never did like that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna check out. And hopefully this last 45 minutes or so goes real fast. Okay, you guys, here's the after. I forgot. These people are making me insane. I had to just pack up to get out of here because these kids are wild. They're just wild. Okay, so this was a very interesting place. It's like a mall. But, you know, malls aren't like what malls used to be, where everything's indoors, the store entrances and everything. It's more like a strip plaza. But the way it's built, it has a courtyard in the middle, kind of like an apartment complex. So the courtyard is where the event took place. Now, when I got my setup information, they had me in 2 booths. I only paid for 1. So I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. So when we got there, well, let me start like this. I wanted to leave the house at 2:15. Didn't happen. Never does. I can never get out of here when I want to. We get there. We can't start to set up until 3:30, and they say they're really firm about that, but all the markets do. And you get there at the start time, and, you know, there's people there that are halfway done setting up. But so we get there at 3:27. I had 3 minutes. I go in. I said, let me go find out where we're supposed to be first, before we start to unload. So I go in, find one of the people that works for the venue, explain the 2 booth situation, and I'm only supposed to have 1. So they let me choose which one I wanted. So I chose the one where the building would be behind me, so there wouldn't be people walking behind me or cutting through. And it kind of made it like having 3 fronts. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to have to rethink how I set my tables up. So I loaded the car a little differently this time because I've been trying to do this, but somebody just wants to unload and be done with it. But I don't want to keep tripping over things and have to move things 15 times. So the way I set the car up, we didn't have a choice but to do it the way I wanted to do it. And we had to wheel everything in. So the wagon came in very, very handy this time. So we take in the canopy, we take in the tables, the weights, which I got extra of, thank goodness. It was so windy in this courtyard. It was like a wind tunnel. I would have been a nervous wreck if I didn't have the extra weights on the canopy. So we take the canopy in, we take the tables in, the table coverings, the display pieces, you know, so I wanted to have all that set up and then go get the inventory and bring it in and just be able to put it on the table so we're not having to move everything 15, 20 times. So that worked out pretty good. But the way it's set up, I'm sitting here watching my phone sync, the camera sync again. This tripod. That's better. We'll see how long it lasts. Nope, it's moving again already. What the heck? I haven't changed anything about it. Why is it doing this today? I wish I knew which section is syncing. Let's try that. Okay, so where was I? So we get it set up, and we only had an hour and a half because you can start setting up at 3:30. It starts at 5. I had like 15 minutes to spare, which I was grateful for, so I had time to run over to the restroom. But the way it's set up, it's a courtyard. And in the middle of it, there is like a grassy area. And that's where the live entertainment is. And for the people who are there for the live entertainment, that section is for them. So the entertainment was really good, by the way. The guy played some like old school songs, some Jimmy Buffett, some John Cash, some Leonard Skinner. I mean, he was like, had a smorgasbord of styles that he was playing. And he did pretty good with almost all of them. And then there were some like, oh, what movie do I know this one from? So we had a few good things happen. We did not miss the exit. Thank goodness. Because every time we take this route, the road is not marked that clearly. And it seems like we always miss the exit. And it's always the same darn exit. So we got it this time without issue. I was actually able to put real shoes on and not wear sandals because my foot is feeling no pain right now. Doesn't look pretty, but it's not hurting, so that's a good thing. And those are the good things that happened. But yeah, so we get all set up. And the first sale of the day were 3 young girls. 2 of them got chicks and eggs, and 1 decided to go with the Triceratops that I made when we were testing out the free patterns during the countdown to Christmas. And there's a story behind that. So, and that was like just after 5 o'clock, and I thought, okay, this might be all right. Then the music gets started, people start showing up, and oh my goodness. Being in that courtyard with the buildings surrounding it, it was so loud. I'm going to have to like get some earplugs or take some cotton balls with me because I am scheduled to go back there again next month. It was so loud. I don't know how people do it. I mean, I've never was like a concert person or anything like that because of it being so loud. Even when the music wasn't going, the sound of all the people, it just like echoed, and it was all the noise was contained in that spot. And then, of course, tension headache. I could feel it in my neck. So I took some Excedrin. It took a little while for it to kick in, so I was a little grumpy until the headache went away. Okay, I'll be honest. I was a lot grumpy until the headache went away. There were 5 entrances into this courtyard. Just remember 5 entrances. So the venue requires that you have 25-pound weights on each leg. And like I said, I ordered extra because, it's breezier in the spring than it is in the summer or fall. We just have more wind in the spring. And so I was a little paranoid. I had ordered extra sandbags, and we had them set up and took them with us, thank goodness, because it was like a wind tunnel in there. But then the people straight across from me and to the right of them, neither one of them had any weights on their canopy. And I'm just like, let's add to my paranoia. I can just see these things going flying. And there were kids everywhere running through this place like wild animals. So pretty much it was kind of like a big party. You had good music. You had all these businesses around, like there was a taco bus. We got a pizza from this place. I can't remember the name of it, but it was really good pizza. So there were things that, you know, the businesses benefit from these people having these venues there. But it was like a big party. So you'd see, here's a group of adults over here, and they all have their mixed drinks in their hands. And then there'd be another group over here or over there. And here's all these kids just running wild through the place. Some of them were well behaved, but I would say the majority of them were like, they're not watching me. I'm just going to be a little brat and get into everything. And they did. They got into everything. It was making me insane. So, I mean, there were some good ones. There were some really nice kids. And then and these kids were way too young to be not monitored some. I mean, because here's the adults over there with their mixed drinks and they're not paying attention. It's like, and I'm like, this is not a safe place. There are 5 entrances to this. Someone could walk in one entrance, grab a kid, and walk right out another entrance, and nobody would be the wiser. I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed. When my kids were little, no. They were never out of my sight when we went somewhere. They were with me, or I was like 10 feet, 15 feet away from them. No. No. That added to my stress. So anyhow, there was this one little boy, maybe 2, possibly 3 years old, maybe. And he comes over and he grabs 2 plushies off the wooden bookcase racks and hauls butt. And I'm just like, what? Well, he's going over to the booth that's across from me. And the dad, uncle, whatever, his adult supervision was standing there talking with that vendor. And then there were 2 young girls, maybe 10, 12 years old. One of them tried to get these 2 plushies away from the kid. So she does, and she brings them back. Then about an hour later, they're still there. This little kid comes back. He grabs one of the princess dolls and hauls butt with it. The young girl is trying to stop him. Well, he's got a hold of the leg, and she's got a hold of the body, and they're sitting there playing tug of war. By this time, I am 100% frustrated because the headache hasn't gone away. The adults were not paying attention to whatever kids they were in charge of taking care of. And they're just in and out of the booth and touching everything and knocking stuff over and squeezing and... Can I have something for free? No. I was like, oh. The stress level was like way out there. So they're having this tug of war with the princess doll, and I walk over and I took it away from them, and I got, not so nicely, close to the 2 kids and told them, don't touch. Just don't touch. Stay away from here. You know, you need to watch this kid. He shouldn't have enough time that he can run over to other booths. Like, they're not paying attention to him. Like, watch your kid. He's going to get hurt. Something bad. I don't know. My mind just goes there. It's just going to be something bad. Yeah. But after I told them, don't touch, they didn't come back over. And they probably thought I was the biggest bitch that ever lived, but I can't. My mind always goes to worst case scenario, and I don't know why. I don't know why it does that, but it does. And I don't want to see any of them get hurt. I don't want to have to go to the rescue for anything. It's like, people, please monitor your children. Make sure they're safe. Make sure they're not getting into any trouble. Make sure they're not doing anything bad. Just pay attention. That's it. Just pay attention. other than that situation, and I'm hoping it's just like a one-off situation, that it's not always like that, because I am scheduled 3 more times to go back there. It would have been a great market. But the headache just really amplified my mood. Like, it made it really hard to be nice. We're going to play this game all through this video of me raising this tripod. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so you don't want to hear me complain. There were some really cool kids. One little girl, she came back right at the end of the night and she had her little plushie and she thanked me for making it. That was really cool. This other little boy, I think it was a little boy. I don't remember, because at this point there was a lot of people in the booth, and he heard me talking to someone else about them being handmade. And then he says, "You made all these?" And I'm like, "Yep." And he goes, "How many years did it take?" Stuff like that makes it worthwhile. It was fun. Probably about an hour before the market was over, my headache finally went away. And then, like, right at 9 o'clock, that's when we're supposed to start breaking down. But, you already see other people breaking down. But I am a rule follower. I wait till 9 o'clock. And then I have this mass flood of people coming into the booth. And then we're trying to break down after that group of people left. And these still unattended children, playing with the spinner rack that I keep the car swings on. And now they get them all tangled up. And I just look at them and I'm like, you know what? If you ruin one of those, it's going to cost you $10. Plain and simple. And then they take off and you hear them, John overheard them telling the parent, "That lady was going to charge me $10. Yes, I was. If you damaged that item, yes, I was going to charge you $10. After the tug of war and all the other things that went on throughout that event, it's at the end of the night, you messed that up, I'm going to charge you $10. So I was just like, oh my gosh, people, control your children. Just control your kids. And I think back to when I did the Christmas on the farm, and those children were so well behaved. They were so polite. They didn't manhandle everything on your table. It was just like, that was a fun market. It wasn't like, I didn't get rich there. I don't expect to get rich at any market. But it was fun. Friday night was not fun. And I know my headache contributed a lot to why it wasn't fun for me. But people, please control your children. You need to teach them some respect for other people. Anyhow. All right. So we know that I went through all my market bags, re-entered everything into the square, assigned it a number so that I could just punch in that 3-digit number and the item would come right up and be able to pay for it. Well, I wanted it to auto-generate a SKU. And then, of course, I've already told you that it doesn't just go in sequential number order. Like if I start with 001, it's not going to auto-populate 002 as the next item. It just gives it some random numbers and letters. So that was not what I wanted. So what I had to do was switch from the grayish black square icon over to the green square for retail to see if it was going to do that. And it, of course, didn't do it. But there are some really cool reports in there. So I have a 30-day free trial that I can access these reports. And then after that, it's $29 a month if you want to keep it. There are some cool reports in there. However, when I was going through all my stuff and pricing and entering, I was weighing it to calculate cost and all that. And I was entering all that in. And for some reason, when I switched from the gray square to the green square, my retails were there, my quantities were there, but my costs that I entered in weren't there. So I'm like, I'm not happy about this. And I have a market next Saturday, this coming Saturday, and I'm not going to have time to go back and weigh everything and recalculate and re-enter. I mean, I don't have to remake a lot of things. I just have a couple of things that I need to remake, but I don't have the time for it. And I really wanted to be able to do the market recap like I did when I first started doing the markets and give you a cost breakdown and everything. But I can't do that this time. I apologize because for whatever reason, it did not keep my numbers and I can't. Some of them it's there and some of them it's not. And it's like, I don't know what happened. But you get these really cool reports that come out. And it tells you your item, your SKU number, how many you sold, and then your total sales for that particular item. I would imagine there is a report that shows you best sellers, but I think that goes by, like you could have something that's $5, but you sold 20 of them, so it's $100, and now that's your best seller because it was the highest dollar amount. I consider a bestseller the one, if it's a duplicate item that you sell the most of, like mini birds. If I make 10 and I sell 9, and that's the most I sold of a particular item, then that's a bestseller. That's my thinking on that. So, then I also, when I was talking with a girl, her uncle was buying her, I don't remember which plushie it was now, but I was talking with her and telling her how they were handmade, and he was listening, and he's like, these are all handmade, and he just reached over and he grabbed an elephant, and he said he wanted to add that to it to get it for his other niece. He didn't realize they were handmade. So I'm thinking I need some type of signage that says that it's handmade. And it also says to, be gentle. So, I mean, not that a 2 or 3 year old could read the sign, but like, these aren't made for tug of war. You can't treat them like that. You can't like give it to your dog. They're going to tear it apart. So I'm thinking I'm needing signage because I think some people think it's like a lot of the other stuff that you see at these markets that aren't necessarily all craft and handmade markets. Like there's a lot of stuff from China, a lot of junk stuff that they buy and just resell. They're not necessarily crafters. So I think I need some kind of signage that says that it is handmade. I just need to think of the proper wording because I want to get two messages across. One, that it's handmade, and one, don't manhandle my stuff. So I got to figure out how to word it nicely and not come off as a, what. Okay, so this is the part everybody wants to know. What did we sell? We sold one, and I'm just going to go in the order as it printed it out. And I'm not sure that it went in any particular order. So, actually it looks like it went in alphabetical order. Okay, so the first thing that sold, and this isn't alphabetical because for some reason I must have missed hitting save, but it wasn't in there. So it was one of the little mini squirrels that I made from Avery Crafts a Lot's pattern. So I sold one of those. And I think what happened there is I was talking on the phone when I was putting that one in, and I just didn't hit save. Sue, you distracted me. So we sold a squirrel. And we sold a Oak and Marlowe Fables collection bunny rabbit. We sold one of those. The little chubby bunnies that I just made, that was the pattern by Kira Crochet Customs. The one I said reminds me of a mini bird with bunny ears. Sold 4. I took 6 with me and we sold 4. Sold one of those silly looking little wiener dogs, Dachshund. Sold one of those. Now it broke the keychains down because I put everything in separate. We sold an F-bomb keychain. Sold the one and only Mushy Boy keychain. Sold the one and only Rubber Ducky keychain. Then sold my last Marley the Manatee. Sold one of those Perry the Platypus that I thought the hat was wrong. You know, like the hat needed to be smaller. But we sold one and people knew what it was, so. We sold a frog swing, an otter swing, 2 yellow chick swings, 5 chicks and eggs, 1 of the blue chicken, the Stardew Valley chickens. We sold a Nibbles, the country mouse with the cookie. That was a cute one. At the end of the night, the little girl came back with her mom and she thanked me for making it. It was really, that was nice. You know, that she said she wanted to come back and say thank you because it's her favorite book. Sold 1 Madeline Mako elephant. Then I had this one mini bird. It was supposed to look like a flamingo, but I didn't think it looked like a flamingo. I didn't like it very much. And it's been at a few markets, but it sold. Probably because I didn't get the opportunity to make the other flamingo, which is on my list for this week, hopefully. Oops, did that page already. Then we sold 2 mini jellyfish, and those are all from Jade's pattern. Could be because of price. Sold a pig keychain. Sold a squid keychain. We sold a mini mermaid. 2 yellow mini birds. Yellow. I separated all those out by color. One of the mini pups, that is the Rosalie Toys free pattern on Instagram. Momo sold. That was my highest dollar item that sold. Sold my last possum. 4 Myrtle the Turtles. 1 penguin swing. 1 Ninja Turtle. Now I'm down to 1. I really do need to make the other ones. We'll see if it happens. And then there's that Triceratops that I told you there was a story behind. So the 3 little girls, the 2 buy the chicks and eggs, and the 1 girl gets the Triceratops. 2 hours later, she comes back. I want to return this. Now, I'm still grumpy because I still have my headache. So I probably didn't come off as very nice. I was annoyed because now you've been out there running around playing with this toy for 2 hours and you want me to take it back. I don't know what you've done with it. I don't know if you've rubbed it on all over your face or had it in your mouth or, you know, ate greasy food. I don't know. But to save conflict, I took it back. She wanted to exchange it for a chicken and egg. And so I exchanged it and gave her back the price difference of the two toys. I wasn't thrilled about it. It will not go back out there for sale. That one is toast. So let me calculate real quick here what the best sellers were. Okay, so doing some quick math. Top sellers were 3 things coming in tied at 5 being sold. The chicken, the egg, the keychains, and the car swings. Each sold 5 of various styles. 4 chubby bunnies and 4 Myrtle the turtles. Those were the top sellers. There were some twosies. There were lots of ones. So we sold, I have to subtract 1 for the return. We sold a total of 41 items. The average sale was 14 and some change. Okay, so we did a total of, minus the exchange, we did a total of $443 in sales. 86 of that was cash, 357 was card or square. My square fees were $11.33, and my setup was $55. Unfortunately, I do not have a materials cost for you because it did not save in the thing. I don't know what happened. So my net total was $431 minus, or $431.67 minus the $55 setup, for a total of $376.67, which is not a total bust. It's not spectacular, but I've had worse. I have had much, much worse. So I am going to go back because, like I said, I'm scheduled to be there a few more times. I am going to go back and give it another shot. And I don't know, take some aspirin before I go to save the headache, because it seems like by the time I get there to where I'm going and I get set up, I have that stress, tension headache. So if I do it before it happens, maybe I'll survive a market without having a headache. And usually because of the time of day that I'm leaving, you know, it's like, oh, I didn't have lunch, so I'm hungry. That adds to it. All the pollen in the air, that adds to it. The driving into the sun because of the time of day adds to it. So if I just like take something before I go as a preventative measure, maybe I'll not be so grumpy and have to wait for it to kick in and make my headache go away. But I really think if I wouldn't have had the headache, it wouldn't have been so bad. I mean, I would have had those few kids that irritated me, and it would have bothered me still that the people across from me didn't have weights on their tents, and it still would have bothered me that the kids were running wild, but it wouldn't have bothered me as badly. It was just the headache amplified everything. So I have a high pain tolerance, but there are just some things that, you know, just don't, and a headache is one of them. So I don't think it was a total bust. I think it was pretty decent. And again, I'm going to go back and see what happens. Now, some of the other vendors were telling me that it was slow. But I also think that a lot of people think this stuff is mass produced, and once they know that it's handmade, they're not so put off by the prices. You can go to Walmart or Dollar General or someplace like that and get a little plush toy for real cheap. But when they know that it's handmade, that makes a big difference to a lot of people. So I need the signage. I just need to figure out how to word it. And it's a good possibility that some of the footage that I took at the market, you're not going to see because I was really grumpy. I was trying to have parts in it, like when the guy would take a break from his music, which he hardly took any breaks at all. And if I didn't have people in the booth, I wanted to do, you know, a little bit of vlogging, but it didn't happen. And the one clip I did, you may or may not have seen because I was super grumpy. I have to, once I see what I said, then we'll know if it's going to be in here or not. And I don't know yet, so you may not have seen that. If you don't remember seeing me talking to you directly in that video, I took it out because I was being grumpy. Being very grumpy. Okay, so I have a lot to do, and I'm sure you do too, so I'm going to let you go, and we will see you on Wednesday.